Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Sorrel, plant spirit medicine woman, and I am your cacaoista for today's new moon cacao ceremony. We are joining together today with the intention of healing our lives through a process of soul retrieval. And the soul retrieval process that we're working with today is a Mayan technique that I'm going to share with you that I was taught many years ago. And I've helped many people with this technique to heal different aspects of their lives. When we work with soul retrieval, we are finding parts of ourselves that have dissociated over our lifetime. Perhaps they've left us through trauma or other reasons, just parts of us that have become lost on the way, on the journey of our lives. And we want to bring them back so that we can be whole. And that feeling of wholeness is absolutely delicious. It's where we can really feel our power and stand in our authentic truth and be ourselves, be confident being ourselves. So the process of today's cacao ceremony, if you're new to cacao ceremony, or also just to let you know, this is a completely optional practice to drink the cacao. Some people prefer not to drink the medicine. It is a beautiful heart-opening medicine. It does have certain medicinal properties which can potentially interact with medications, but this is not proven scientifically. It's just some theoretical idea that there is a potential for it to interact. So anybody that is on medications that might affect the heart or the blood pressure, or perhaps antidepressant medication, just be aware that you need to take a slightly lower dose of cacao when we do this work. So ceremonial cacao dosage really varies depending on who you work with. You can work with as little as 10 grams in a cup to get a good effect. And some people like to go all the way up to as much as 42 grams to get a really intense experience with cacao. So what we want to do before we begin drinking our cacao, I hope you have prepared your ceremonial cacao already. And if not, remember this is a video. So even if you're coming to me for the live session, you can pause this and then drop back in a few minutes' time once your cacao is prepared. I have already had my cacao so that I can be in a really high vibrational place to hold space for your journey today. As we work together with the gongs, I want to be in a really good state. So I've got my cacao cup ready. And if you've got your cacao cup ready, then we will be calling in the directions in a moment. Once we've called in those directions, the 7 directions to shield us and protect us, and also to call in the wisdom and the guidance of our spirit guides and our power animals and the nature beings, then I will invite you to drink your cacao. So just hang on for another couple of minutes before we actually drink our cacao together. While you're drinking the cacao, I will explain things in much more detail so that you understand what today is all about and how to navigate this journey with me. And with the gongs being so powerful as they are, they get us into a deep trance state. So sometimes we drift a little bit in our consciousness, and so this is helpful for me to give you an idea of what's about to happen. So if you do drift off a little bit during the journey time, then you can recall from your conscious memory of this moment what you're doing, where you are within that time frame. Also, because it's a video, you can always rewind it if you realise you've missed a bit and you really want to go back and revisit that part. Okay, let's begin by cleansing our energy field together. And we're going to be doing this by using our hands. So there are lots of ways to cleanse your energy. You can work with smudge, you can work with smoke, you can work with a flower water, you can work with crystals, you can work with rattles or drums to cleanse your energy field. I'm going to show you another Mayan way to cleanse your energy just using your hands. So there are 3 layers of our energy field. The outer layer, which is about an arm's length around us, which is a representation of our auric field, and we can cleanse the outer layer, which helps to wash away anything which is stuck to the outside of our energy field. And that might be projections from other people, or just experiences as you've walked through negative energy spaces from your day. Then we can cleanse that area of our energy field, because when we journey into the spirit world, we are a powerful magnet, just as we are here in this reality. But when we journey into the spiritual realms, we are a really powerful magnet for manifestation. So we want to make sure we're nice and sparkly and clean, so we're only attracting the best stuff. The next layer is our emotional layer. When we work on that emotional layer, we're working on the emotions that we might be feeling into in this moment. So we're cleansing away any uncomfortable emotions that we don't want in our energy field. And last of all, we're going to cleanse the physical body, which is also made of energy. So it's not separate just because it's physical, it's still energy. So we do this by taking our hands in front of our heart. And now we call our heart to open, and it becomes like a fountain of love and light. And we pour that love and light into our hands. So it's a bit like a prayer shape, but I like to cup it a little bit so I can scoop the energy and hold space for that energy to pour into that space. And then we gather that energy and we carry it up over the tops of our heads, and we open up to the universe. And we gather that love and light from the universe, as we're sharing our love and light with the universe from our heart. And the universe responds by showering us with love and light. And we gather that love and light and we pour it over the outside of our aura. So just imagining us being washed clean, almost like a waterfall of energy is dropping around us and over us. And then we give any sticky energies that don't belong to us to the ground. If for any reason you can't touch the ground, if you've got to pull back or you're just in a funny position so you can't reach the ground, shake your hands, stamp your feet a little bit so you're shifting that energy into the earth. Thank you, Mother Earth, for taking that energy away from us. She's a powerful sorceress, and she can compost that energy and turn it into good, nourishing energy again. We're going to do the next layer now. So hands back in front of the heart, gathering that love and light from the heart, scooping it up over the head, opening up to the universe, allowing the universe to shower us with love and light, and now bringing that love and light through the auric field, cleansing the emotions all the way down to the ground. So only keeping the light, the love, the good positive energies within us, and letting go of anything which we don't want in our energy field. Shake your hands, stamp your feet a little bit if it helps to really feel that release. Coming back to the heart, we're going to do the physical layer now. Hands in front of the heart, gathering the love and light from that heart that's pouring out, scooping it up over the top of the head, gifting it to the universe and allowing the universe to shower us with love and light in return. Gathering that love and light and bringing it all the way through the energy of the physical body, cleansing any discomfort all the way down to the ground, giving it to Mother Earth again. Thank you, Mama, for taking that away and composting it. And now coming back to being you again. Okay, so now we're going to take our cups of cacao, or if you prefer, you could have a glass of water, or if you aren't drinking anything at all, then you could shake a rattle or just connect with your hands, feeling into the space. We're going to work around the horizontal plane first of all. So I'm going to turn my back as I face the east, and we call in the sun rising and the spirits of the east. So join me with your cups of cacao if you know where the east is. Otherwise, just tune in to the energy of the sun rising and the dawn. And we hold our cups of cacao up to that space. We call upon the beloved spirits of the east. We call upon the fire, the rising sun, the dawn and the new day. And we invite in the spirit of great condor and eagle, the archetypal spirit guides for this place, to guide us on our journey today, to help us to see as we journey into the spirit realms with eagle eyes, with clarity. Thank you for joining us today and holding us under your wing as we journey. Beloved ones, we share our cacao with you and we welcome you. Now we turn to our beloved spirits of the south. Now this is also where we connect in with the sun, but it's the full sun in the noon sky. So we welcome in the noonday sun, and we welcome in the water element. We welcome in the archetypal energy of snake. Snake helps us to let go of anything which no longer serves us. So we share our cacao with these elements and these energies and this power animal today as we invite them to our ceremony. Aho, we welcome you. And now we turn to face our beloved spirits of the west. Beloved spirits of the west, we welcome you. We welcome the setting sun. And here we celebrate how far we've already come on our journey and recognize the path so far. We also want to invite in the spirit of Jaguar here. Jaguar helps to protect our medicine space and also helps us to face the shadow. As we face our shadow, she helps us to bring it into the light for healing and integration. Beloved ones, we welcome you and share our cacao. Now we turn to face the north. Beloved spirits of the north, we welcome you. We welcome the night and the bright moon shining. We welcome the air and clarity of thought. And we welcome our ancestors, those who have passed before us and those who are yet to be born. We welcome you. We welcome the archetypal energy of hummingbird, who teaches us to only accept the best in our lives. And as you teach us that, we are also graciously trusting the path, that we can't see all the way to the end of the path of this lifetime, but we're trusting you, hummingbird, to guide us on that path to the places that we're daring to dream. Beloved ones, we welcome you and we share our cacao with you. And now we connect with the earth beneath us, so tuning into Mother Earth beneath our feet. We welcome you, Mother Earth, and we thank you for this delicious cacao that you've shared with us as we offer it to you. And we offer it to all our earth relations. We offer it to the plant people, the stone people. We offer it to the animals, the furry, the feather, the fin ones, the creepy crawly, the slithery slimy ones. We welcome you all. We welcome the viruses, the bacteria, the mushrooms, and every being that makes up this place we call Earth, that we call home. We ask for your forgiveness for the destruction that we've been causing and ask you to teach us how to be better, how to live in harmony with all our relations. Aho. We welcome you. And tuning into the sky above us, we connect up with Father Sky and we welcome Father Sky to our ceremony. We thank you for wrapping your loving arms of protection around us, for protecting this earth from the space, the void of space, giving us the breath of life, the winds of change, the blue skies and the grey. And we share our cacao with you. And now we connect in as I spin round on my chair to connect in with the greater universe. We're connecting in with our cosmic relations with Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun. We welcome you all and we share our cacao with you. Thank you to all the cosmic relations. And now the final, seventh direction we connect in with is Great Spirit. Now, Great Spirit is our connection to creation energy, the creative energy that flows through all that is. You have 1,000 names, yet you are still the unnameable one, Great Spirit, and we welcome you to our ceremony today. You flow through us and you flow through all that is. Please help us to connect with all that we need to connect with today, and particularly help us on our journey to perform a soul retrieval for ourselves today. Beloved ones, we welcome you. Now, if there's anyone else you would like to invite into your cacao ceremony today, then please do that now. Taking a moment just to call them in. Maybe it's a personal paranormal you'd like to be with you today, or a spirit guide or an ancestor, or the fairies from your garden. All are welcome. Okay, so now you can offer your cacao to yourself, and you can start drinking your cacao as I guide you through this process that we're going to go on today, so you have a little bit more idea about what's involved. So we are going to be doing this journey with the gongs. The gongs are really helpful to get us into a deeper state of consciousness, a deeper trance state. They help to distract the left brain, which is our linear brain, which helps us to walk through our lives, reminds us our name, reminds us how old we are, reminds us what we did yesterday, what we were supposed to cook for dinner tomorrow, what we need to do when we go shopping. It's a very practical brain, but it doesn't tune into the greater level of consciousness that we're searching for today. That comes through the right brain consciousness. And our right brain consciousness connects to everything in the entire universe. And it can feel the soul parts that we're searching for and can help us to call them home again. So we want to activate that right brain consciousness today. And we're going to do that through my guiding you on a guided meditation to do this soul retrieval work, but also the gongs are going to be doing most of that work for us. So that's another good point to make, is that this works best if you're using a good pair of headphones or really good speakers quite close to you, so that you can feel the nuances, all the different sounds that the gong is making, because they will make a good 13 different noises all at once individually. And then when we weave them together, there's going to be multiple different vibrations coming off these gongs, all confusing that left brain, but giving space for that right brain consciousness to awaken, so that your perception can expand into those spiritual realms. They're all around us all of the time. There is really no separation. When we are tuning into the spirit realm, there are 3 divisions that we talk about, although they are really all around us. There's the upper realm, which connects us up into the angelic realm, and it's our higher self-consciousness. And then there's the lower realm, which is where we're going to journey today together. The lower realm is also known as our inner realm. It's our subconscious mind, and it connects us up with the parts of ourselves that maybe we would call our shadow parts, or some native tribes of the Americas would call them the rascals, the cheeky parts of us that are playing up a little bit. They can be all sorts of types of stories, like our jealousy or our anger. We can call those the rascals to kind of minimize, imagine they're little toddlers rather than giant beasties within us. And then we can work with them in a different way. So when we go into the lower realm, we can work with energies which are a bit heavier. And there is a specific being that we're going to connect with today when we go into that lower realm, called Huasca. Huasca is the god of the underworld, who is part of the Mayan story of how we weave our story through reality. So we're going to connect with Huasca right at the beginning of the journey as we go into that lower world. And then he will guide us through 4 chambers to find our soul part, to look at the contract that we've made when we lost that soul part. So potentially if we lost a soul part, maybe say you are 14 years old and you have your first love and your boyfriend leaves you, and a part of your heart's like, I'm never going to love again. So you make a contract that you're never fully going to give yourself to love again. You're going to keep yourself a little bit separate from people so that you can stay safe. But that contract stops you really enjoying being in love with people from then on. So you might retrieve that soul part back, burn the old contract in the chamber of contracts, and also then we discover all the different treasures that we can manifest now that we are fully whole again. And Huasca is going to guide us through those 4 chambers to restore our soul part and to bring it home again. Huasca is also going to bring us home a new power animal that will help us to hold that new contract in place in our lives so that we never lose that soul part again. When we are finished journeying, I will call you back home again so that you're fully present in this reality again. We want to come back the same way as we journey into that lower realm. So the way we get to that lower realm, there are many different ways that you can be guided. I like to give you as much freedom as possible in your journeys. And so I encourage you to choose the way to go down into the lower realm. And if you have read the story of Alice in Wonderland, then it can feel a bit familiar to that journey that she goes on when she goes down the rabbit hole and falls down a giant tunnel until she lands in a new world. And so I'm going to guide you to imagine that you're leaving your body. It's not going to feel like astral projection, but we're going to feel as if a little light is in our head, and it's a little bit like Tinkerbell the fairy, and it's going on a little journey for you. It's going to lead through the crown chakra. It's going to travel across the landscapes of the earth until it finds a place to land. And I want you to choose that place now. I want you to think about a place in nature where you feel super calm, super confident, super safe and held by the nature spirits. So this could be a forest, this could be a meadow, this could be your garden. I've done this journey in Regent's Park, but I've made sure that it wasn't a busy time. I've gone to this place. So you can also set the time frame for where you're journeying to. I would journey to Regent's Park at like 4 o'clock in the morning when there's no one else there, except maybe a park keeper. And so that way I feel safe in that place without too many other energies coming to disturb my vibe. When we get to that place, then we will land in that landscape and we will look for a way to go down. And that way to go down can be tapped into through your imagination. You can create it yourself, or perhaps it will come instinctively to you. So the way that I journey, I go to a forest and there's some trees, and then in the roots of one of those trees there's a hole, and that hole has a doorway, a little bit like a fairy door that you might imagine. And so the door's open and I can travel through that portal into the lower realm, through the tunnel that looks very much like a cartoon version of the Alice in Wonderland story, until I land in that lower world landscape. But you can go as many different ways as you can possibly imagine. There are infinite opportunities here to travel. So you might want to have a door in a tree a little bit higher up in the trunk. You could open it and there could be a beautiful spiral staircase that's lit with candles that guide you down in a more gentle, more sophisticated way than just falling down a mudslide like I like to go. So however you would like to imagine it is absolutely fine. Okay, so I think we've covered everything we need to cover for now. So we're going to begin the journey. If you've finished drinking your cacao, the next thing to do is make sure that you feel comfortable. So I'd like you to make sure your space is comfortable. You might want to do this supported, sitting up. so that you can really rest your physical body into the space. Have a super comfy chair with pillows and cushions and maybe a rug over you to keep you warm. When we rest this deeply, our temperature can drop a degree or two. And so if your room already feels a little bit chilly, then have something to wrap yourself in or put on another jumper or something to keep yourself super cozy. You might also want to have a journal or some paper handy so that you can write notes at the end of this session so that you can remember. When we come back from these journeys, often it can feel a little bit like you're waking up from a dream. And then if you don't write it down really quickly, then you will also lose that information quite fast. So it can help to jot it down, make a few notes at the end. And also at the end of this ceremony, there is the opportunity, if you're joining me live, to come online for a Zoom call so that we can integrate our stories together. And I would love to hear from you. If you're not joining me at the end of this session on the Zoom call, you can also leave comments below or get in touch with me through the many ways that we communicate these days, and we can share your stories together. I'd love to hear from you. But let's begin. So I trust that you're all ready for me to begin. If not, then again, just pause the video till you are, and I will begin the journey with you, guiding you through relaxing the body first, then visualizing moving through into our landscape in this realm. Then we'll journey from this realm into the lower realm. We'll do our soul retrieval, and then we'll bring ourselves home again. And I'll guide you through the whole process. So now beginning by closing your eyes, tuning in to your breath. Taking a few long, deep breaths. Allowing the body to soften. Giving your body permission to relax completely. Relaxing down through each of the sets of muscle now. So let's tune in to our forehead, relaxing the forehead, relaxing the muscles around the eyes. Relaxing the jaw, the mouth, the tongue, all the way from the tip of the tongue down to the root. It can help to rest the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Relaxing down through the neck, the front, the sides, and the back of the neck, down into the shoulders. Relaxing into the arms, the upper arms, the forearms, the hands, the fingers. Letting them go really nice and loose and limp now. Relaxing down now through the chest and the upper back. The muscles either side of the spine and the muscles of the rib cage. And as you do that, you might notice that your in-breath expands even deeper into the chest. And each breath becomes longer and deeper as you relax more and more. Relaxing down now into the lower back, into the abdomen, the bands of muscles surrounding the hips, down through the pelvis. Now let's move down into our legs, giving our thighs permission to relax, the front, the back, the inner thighs, the sides, all just softening and sinking deeper into that cushion that's supporting you, or perhaps you're laying on a mat on the floor or your bed. Wherever you are, just giving them permission to rest in that space and feel the support that's available to you. Relaxing down through the lower leg now, into the calf, into the shin. Gently softening. And now all the way down into your feet, the soles of the feet, the arches, the tops, the sides, and into your toes. Now we're going to start to relax our minds as well. So let's imagine our mind is completely empty, like a void in space. Except for a tiny light right in the center, like a little star far away in the distance. And that star begins to get bigger and brighter, and bigger and brighter, starts to fill up that space, like a shooting star coming towards you. Fills up the whole of that void in your mind, and it starts to move into your body like a river of white fire, moving down through your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your fingers, moving down through your torso, through all the organs of your body, cleansing and refreshing, down into the lower abdomen, the bands of muscles surrounding the hips, through the pelvis, into the legs, the lower legs, the feet and the toes. And it starts to move out of your body now, expanding into the aura around you so that you're standing inside the white light now. Now that white light expands a little bit more to fill up the whole of the room that you're in. Expanding your consciousness so that you're feeling outside your physical body. Perhaps you can feel the energy of the plants, if you've got plants in your space, or the objects in your room. Maybe there's other people in the space with you and you can feel them too. And let's expand about a mile wide now. Let's go into the landscapes around the buildings that we're in, or if you're lucky enough to be doing this outside, into the landscape that you're already in. Feeling the trees around us and their roots deep in the earth and their branches high in the sky. The birds flying through the sky. If you're in an urban environment, perhaps you can feel cats or dogs or foxes or little mice. All the little critters that live in our world, moving through the landscape around us. Maybe you live near a body of water and you can feel the flow of that water. Or perhaps you're in a built-up area and you can feel the roads and the people walking along and the cars driving and the flow of their energy moving through this space. Now I've expanded our consciousness. It's time for us to call it home again. So we call it back to being the room that we're in. Now let's call it back to being our aura. So we're just standing inside a ball of white light now. Now let's call it back to being our body. Now let's call it all the way back into our mind again till it becomes a tiny, tiny spot of pure white light in the center of our mind again. This little white light wants to go on a journey for you into the lower realms to connect with Huasca, who's going to take us on a journey of soul retrieval. And so think now of the place you want to journey to, the place in this reality, in nature, where we'll begin our descent into the lower realms. And that little white light is an excitable little fairy part of you, and it jumps out through your crown chakra. And it starts to fly out of the room that you're in, or the space that you're in, and it's scooped up by a protective golden mist, which wraps itself around you. And you feel like you're protected by the wings of angels as you begin to fly across the landscape towards your place in nature. You're flying across fields, farms, urban environments and countryside, forests and mountains, rivers and oceans. place where you're going to come into land is beginning to come into view. And we start to descend together now into our landscape. Like an aeroplane coming into land, the golden mist guides us down gently with ease and grace into that landscape. Our feet touch the ground, and the golden mist subsides so that we can connect with this process and this place. Now, as I guide you on this visualization journey, I'd like you to all know that it doesn't matter how visual you are. When we work shamanically, we are seeing without seeing. Sometimes the information that comes through is more of a sense, a kinesthetic experience in the body. Sometimes it's more of a knowing in the mind. And some of us are visual, and we can enjoy that too. So however the information is coming through for you, trust it's coming through in the way that's going to work for you best today. We are all unique, and we all experience it differently. So with your feet touching the ground, tuning into the sensation of your feet on the ground, and the texture of the earth, or the rock, or the sand, whatever's underneath your feet now. It could even be water. Connecting in with it, feeling the temperature of the air against your skin, noticing the time of day, the noises in this space that you become aware of. And looking around now for a way to descend into that lower realm landscape. Now we're going to go down together through the portal. It might be a hole in the roots of a tree or a doorway. Look around for your portal now, and if you need to, create one with your imagination. If it's not immediately obvious, that's also fine to do. This is a way of dreaming where we are the dreamers. We are allowed to be in conscious control of this experience. And then Spirit will also give us some input into this journey as we go. One, two, three. Let's travel down now. Let's go down that portal, through the door, and as we feel ourselves falling or traveling down, deeper and deeper our consciousness goes. As we travel through the different layers of consciousness, from beta, our everyday consciousness, through to alpha, and maybe we'll reach deeper states of the deeper states of delta and theta. Possible, where we go into really deep dreaming states. Almost coming out now at the bottom, but still just a little bit more swirling down and round, deeper and deeper. And now we come out into that low-ward landscape. And we call for Huasca immediately, even if it's dark where we are. We may well have come out into a dark cave. We call for Huasca to come, and Huasca will come towards us. Now you may recognize Huasca. He may feel familiar to you, especially if you've done lower world work before. Or he may be someone completely new to you. Welcome him as he shows himself. If it's dark in this space, ask him to light the space for you so you can see more easily. Now, Huasca is going to help you to retrieve a soul part today. And there are many soul parts that we may have lost during our lifetime. So the first thing we need to do is to tune in with Huasca to an area of our being that may need healing. So you may have a physical issue in your body, or just a sense of a blockage of energy somewhere, maybe in a chakra, or maybe there's a sense of a lack of confidence or a lack of creative flow. So if you have a specific intention, you don't have to, but if you do find in this moment that there is a soul part you would like Huasca's help to retrieve with you or to manifest in some form, then you can show Huasca or tell Huasca what you would like to work through today. Now Huasca's ready to guide you on this journey. And the first chamber of the 4 chambers we're going to go to, as he takes you into this giant cave with 4 big chambers in, is called the Chamber of Wounds. And as you approach the Chamber of Wounds, you see that there is a door, and he opens the door for you, and you look inside, and in that Chamber of Wounds, you notice the soul part that needs to come home. Now I want you to look at this soul part with love, like it's your best friend. Now they may be showing you what the trauma was that you experienced to end up losing this soul part. Or they may show you something symbolic. When we retrieve our soul parts, often they are showing themselves in a dreamlike way, in a symbolic way that represents their energy. You may learn something just by observing this soul part. Try not to get too hooked into the emotional layers that might be held in this space, the emotional story. But like a really good best friend, just feeling into their story, the awareness of this story and the programs that it might have generated. That have altered the path in your life. Perhaps this soul part that got lost along the way caused new programs to be generated. Maybe it created an angry energy within you or a jealous energy within you. But you've healed already in so many ways from this trauma. And this part of you is ready to heal a little more and come home again. So we're going to leave this soul part in the Chamber of Wounds as we get ready to move on to the next place. Huasca takes our hand and begins to guide us to the next part of our journey. And this second chamber we're going to journey to together is called the Chamber of Contracts. He takes us to the next chamber and he opens the door, and this time we walk in to the space. And in this space, it can look a little bit like a library. There are many contracts. Maybe they'll be in the form of a scroll or a book for you. So you look around and you look for the contract that was generated through that old experience. Maybe it will glow a little bit, or maybe it will look golden in some way. And you walk over to the contract and you you unravel it or open it, to look at the words that are written on it. And those words might say something like, I will never love again, or I am not good enough, or I am weak. They will be the negative story, the negative contract that you made with yourself in that moment that's prevented you from enjoying your life to the fullest, for living your best life. So just take a few moments now to tune in and recognize the words, the language that you've been using ever since that trauma. Notice how this contract has rippled out into many different parts of your life. How you've manifested negative experiences that are similar. Throughout your lifetime. When we do soul retrieval, it's a little bit like when you create a row of dominoes and you push one domino and they all start to fall down. If we get to the root of the problem, then we can do so much healing. We can heal all the different parts, all the different traumas that followed from that one initial trauma. Understand our contract well enough, we can destroy it. And I want you to choose your method of destruction and really enjoy it. So you might want to set fire to it, you might want to rip it up into a million pieces. You can ask for Huasca's assistance. Really enjoy this deliberate destruction. You no longer have to be held by this story. You no longer have to be affected by this trauma in the old way. We can transform this story. We can heal from this experience. We can remember who we are before the trauma happened. That contract now, so that you're ready. You've made space for a new contract to be written. And so Huasca gives you a new piece of paper to write your contract on. And you sit down with a pen and this piece of paper, and you start to find the right words, the words which represent the healing of this part. Words may be something like, I am loved, I am love, I am good enough, I am strong, I am joy, I am happy, I am free. So give yourself a few moments just to tune into the right words. Simple. You just need to write maybe a sentence or a short phrase or just a few words, something nice and simple. bit like an affirmation. Of this contract and the words that you've written on it, and we're gonna again go for a little walk with Huasca now to the next chamber, where we're gonna meet that soul part, but the healed version. As we've destroyed that old contract and written a new one, this soul part that we first met in the Chamber of Wounds is healing and is ready, preparing to come home with us. But first we need to negotiate with them and encourage them to come home. So Huasca takes our hand and we leave the Chamber of Contracts and move across to the Chamber of Grace. As we enter the Chamber of Grace, there we see the healed version of that part of us. Notice the difference in their energy. Notice how sparkly. Notice how they're smiling. Now you offer them the contract and you talk them through the words that you've written on your contract. Ask them if they are willing to come home with you. Most of the time they will be jumping at the chance. Occasionally there's a little resistance in some way. And so if there is any resistance, then just ask how you can invite them to trust you again. Perhaps there's something else they would like you to write on that contract. Perhaps there's something that you need to do to help them to reintegrate into this realm. If it's a childhood part, quite often you can ask them something like, what's your favourite game? What should we play when you come home with me? And commit to playing that game. It might be something silly like going to the beach and making a sandcastle, or doing some drawing, playing a silly game, whatever it is. Trust that this is the way to integrate them and to help that inner child soul part heal and come home. With them, explaining your intentions, your reasons for wanting them back in your life, until they're ready to join you on the next part of our journey, where we all get to experience the Chamber of Treasures. That are super resistant, ask them to give it a trial run. Just come back and journey with me for a little while. And you can work extra hard at supporting them as they reintegrate into your life again. In the Huasca takes you both, you, your soul part, and the contract that you've written out of the chamber of grace and across to the fourth and final chamber, the chamber of treasures. And as you enter the chamber of treasures, you notice many things, many treasures that you've missed out on. As you were going through the healing phase after this trauma occurred, when you wrote that old contract that held you in that trauma, there might have been many things you were trying to manifest in this past years since the trauma that have not been showing up yet, but you're ready to receive them now that you're healing, fully healing, and bringing this soul part home. So look around the chamber of treasures. They're all stuck in the spiritual realm, unable to manifest. And choose which one is calling your attention the most. You and your soul part that's coming home with you can enjoy this process until you decide which one's coming back. Notice what qualities it has for you. What it means to you. To receive this wonderful treasure today. Ready to come home, but before we do, Huasca has one last gift for us. He's going to connect us up with a new power animal, and he calls for that power animal to come forward now. An animal spirit steps out and connects with you, and as it does so, you make friends with it. Be aware of the nature of this animal, how it lives its life, how it lives, what it eats, whether it likes to be out during the day or the night. What special gifts does this animal have to share with you? Why is it joining you on your path in life? And how can it help you to keep the contract that you've written? Animal is going to come back with us into the middle realm. This power animal will be able to travel through all the realms, but for now it's going to come back with us, with our soul part, to help that soul part integrate. So let's thank Huasca, thank this power animal for joining us on our journey, and we're going to begin our journey home again. So we come back to the place where we first entered this landscape. we say goodbye to ayahuasca and we begin to feel the pull of our body pulling us home. And we feel ourselves going upwards and round through that tunnel that brought us down into the lower realm. Getting higher and higher and higher. We can feel our consciousness shifting as we do this. We feel ourselves popping out through the crust of the earth into the landscape in nature where we began the journey. We feel the golden mist come and scoop us up and begin to fly us home like we're on a magic carpet, travelling across the landscape, across the fields, the farms, the factories, the urban environments in the countryside, the mountains, the rivers, the valleys, the oceans. Coming all the way back to the place where your body is now, seeing the building or the landscape that you're laying in. Coming back all the way into the room that you're in now, landing, your feet touch the ground, the golden mist subsides, and you pop back in through your crown chakra, fully entering your body again. Welcome home, everybody. So now just taking a few moments to reintegrate, and as you do that, you might want to grab a pen and paper and start to jot down the experiences that you had on your journey. What you saw, who you met, how you felt, the nature of this trauma, the nature of the soul part, the gifts that you've come home with, the gifts of your soul part, the gift of your power animal, and the treasure that you received, and the information that you've gathered on that journey about yourself. When we come back from a soul retrieval, it's a really good idea to be super gentle with yourself. To relax and rest for the rest of the time that you have today, whether you're doing this during the evening and you're about to go to bed, or if you're doing it during the day, just make sure that you have a gentle day. I encourage you to be sober, to not drink or take any drugs today, so that you can not lose that soul part again, because sometimes when we drink or take drugs we can get quite a leaky aura, and this part may drift off quite quickly if we do that. So be good, behave yourselves, drink lots of water, and if your soul part needs anything from you, then maybe today's a good day to give it that space, that time, or maybe you can make a plan to support the reintegration of that soul part in a future date. So we're going to close our ceremony today. I've got my rattle and I'm going to shake it around the 7 directions to say goodbye to everybody that joined us today. And you can join me in that process as we say goodbye to everybody before I say goodbye to you completely today. So I'm going to begin in the East. Beloved spirits of the East, we thank you. We thank the rising sun, the fire, the dawn, this opportunity to rebirth ourselves, to heal our lives with soul retrieval. And we thank the eagle and the condor that came to help us to see with the eagle eyes. Beloved ones, we release you. We thank the spirits of the South, the water, the flow of life, and Snake, who teaches us to let go of the old contracts that we were holding that no longer serve us. Beloved ones, we release you from our ceremony today. Ho. Beloved spirits of the West, we thank you. We thank Mama Jaguar for protecting our medicine space. We thank the soul part that was held in the lower realm for coming home and for reintegrating. Beloved ones, we release you from the ceremony. Beloved spirits of the north, we thank you. We thank the night, the bright moon shining. We thank the ancestors and hummingbird for teaching us how to trust this journey so that we can come home to the place that we dare to dream, the dream of being whole again. Beloved ones, we release you from our ceremony today. Connecting in with the earth beneath our feet, Mother Earth and all our earth relations, thank you for holding space for us in space. We release you from our ceremony. Tuning into Father Sky, we thank you for holding space for us in space, and we release you from our ceremony. And Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun and the Star Nations, all of our cosmic relations, we love you, we thank you and release you. And Great Spirit, we thank you for joining us in ceremony, for guiding us on this path through the matrix, to remember who we are and to reclaim our energy so that we can be whole and holy. Beloved one, we release you. Now, there may be other beings that you called in to ceremony today, so if there's if you want to release the fairies in the garden or whoever else you called in, just thanking them, releasing them now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanking you for doing this really important healing work. So many of us, all of us, have experienced soul loss during our lifetime. And there has never been a time where I've worked with other people to find soul parts of myself that I haven't found apart. So I encourage you to repeat this practice if you found it beneficial, or perhaps if any of you drifted off a bit too deep because the gongs can be quite intense, then please do try it again. I would love you to connect with me after this ceremony in our live Zoom call. And if you booked your ticket through the website, then you will have a link to that already. If for any reason you're doing this later, not during the live session, then please, you're always welcome to connect with me. Either leave a comment below or you can send me a message and we can connect that way. I very much welcome all of you to the ceremonies, particularly those of you who are new to Cacao Ceremony. I'd appreciate it if you would like the channel and subscribe, which really helps me to continue to do this work of offering free cacao ceremonies online. And also, if there's anybody you know that might benefit from this kind of healing, then please share so that they can benefit from this as well. I think the more of us that heal will raise the vibration of the planet as we heal this world. We heal it through healing our hearts first. And I would love to see you again at our next New Moon Cacao Ceremony. So I look forward to seeing you all in ceremony again soon. Thank you for joining me.